Back with another Blackjack terms video for you today. This is all about DAS, or double after split. And just like the name sounds, if you're playing and you have a hand that calls for you to split, like a pair of fours versus a dealer six here, all right, let's do that. DAS tables, or tables that allow you to double down after split, would be on a situation like this, where maybe you have an 11 now versus the dealer 6. Well, if those are your first two cards, you would double down. On a DAS table, double after split table, you're still allowed to do this even after you've split. You're just kind of playing these two hands out separately. So here, let's double down. All right, so we get another card. A 12 versus a dealer 6 is going to stand. All right, dealer has 16 and too many. So on this particular one, you would have got 21. And so therefore, these are all winners and you get paid out a bunch there. All right, now, why is this important to know? Because there are some tables that are not double after split tables, and the basic strategy on those are slightly different. All right, for example, there's four hands, or four sort of different rows of our basic strategy chart that are a little bit different. A pair of sixes versus a dealer's 2 on a non-DAS table, you should not split your sixes here. All right, on a table that does allow you to split, you should split your sixes against dealers 2 through 6. However, not against a dealer's 2 if doubling after split is not allowed. Okay, another hand where if it's not allowed, you don't want to split your fours in this case. There's a pair of fours versus dealer's 5 and a pair of fours versus a dealer's 6. In both those situations, both those particular hands, if double after split is not allowed, you are actually going to just hit your fours and not split them. Okay, and then a couple more here, and that is a pair of 3s versus a dealer's 2 and 3, and a pair of 2s versus a dealer's 2 and 3. So in either case there, if double after split is not allowed, instead of splitting these like normal for both of these particular hands, we're going to keep them together and just hit on those. Now, what does this do for the house edge? And if you think about this, doubling after split allows you to get more chips on the table in those advantageous situations, like that 11 versus 6 we had at the beginning of this video. So because of that, it is better if you are allowed to double after split as opposed to not being able to double after split. The house edge actually increases from not being able to being able to by 0.14%, which doesn't sound like a whole lot until you remember that as card counters, our edge is right around 1%, maybe it gets up to 2% in certain situations. And so by just having a little bit more, 0.14%, that's going to help us out substantially in the long run. All right, guys, a couple things before you go. If you haven't yet, check out Casino Supply. You can use code A1BJ to get all sorts of good deals on cards, chips, felts, discard trays, shoes, things like that. So please check them out. Code A1BJ gets you 10% off everything on their site. Additionally, if you want to see other Blackjack terms, you can check out this playlist right here.